The 2023 Prodigy Bowlers Tour Tournament of Champions is coming. I'm not gonna lie to you. I screwed up and originally picked a date for the event that conflicted with another big youth bowling tournament in the area. And Prodigy is not here to compete against youth bowling tournaments. We're here to build up youth bowling. So for those Prodigy champions that might have been on the fence about which event they wanted to bowl in that weekend, I've got good news. We've moved the date of the Prodigy Bowlers Tour Tournament of Champions to Sunday, June 25th. That's 1 week after Father's Day at Olathe Lanes East. Check in at 9:30 a.m., warm-up starts at 9:50, and we'll get you started bowling at 10 o'clock. Get there early so we don't start without you. Here's how the format will work. All the youth champions we crowned on Prodigy Bowlers Tour during the 2022-23 season who signed the coveted trophy pin will be eligible to bowl in the tournament for an entry fee of just $10. That's just to cover the bowling center for lineage. There are just 2 divisions in the Prodigy TOC. Champions who won in KCO Divisions 2, 3, 4, and 5 on Prodigy Bowlers Tour will compete in the handicap division, unless they finish the season in Division 1, in which case they'll bowl in the scratch division with the rest of the Division 1 champions. Each player will bowl 3 qualifying games, with the handicap division receiving handicap pins equal to 75% of the difference between their last KCO entering average and 200. Your 3-game total, including handicap, if any, is your final qualifying score. The top 4 in both the handicap and scratch divisions will receive a guaranteed spot in their respective division stepladder finals. But even the bowlers who finish out of the top 4 still have a chance to make the stepladder finals, as they will advance to the Prodigy Wildcard Round. The wildcard round is scratch in both divisions and is a single ball elimination format, where each player will throw 1 ball in the first frame, with the low pinfall being eliminated. If 2 or more tie for low pinfall, they'll go into a roll-off until we eliminate 1. Then they'll repeat the process in the second frame and so on until there's just 1 player left, and that player will claim the 5th spot in the stepladder finals. The winner of the stepladder finals in the scratch division will receive the first ever Charles Bostic Award, so named because Charlie won the most titles on Prodigy in its first season and won the first coveted trophy pin, which he then gave to Hunter Moffat back when I used to refer to Hunter as America's favorite 9-year-old. And the winner of the stepladder finals in the handicap division will receive the first ever Hunter Moffat Award, so named because Hunter won the first ever handicap event held on Prodigy back in 2017, and then went on to become the winningest player in Prodigy Bowlers Tour history. Then on our final show in Georgia, Hunter became the final Atlanta winner of the coveted trophy pin, which he then brought with him to Junior Gold in Grand Rapids and kept the tradition alive by giving it away to none other than Charles Bostic, the same guy who gave him the first one. Then, as the ultimate climax of the day, the winners in the handicap and scratch divisions will meet in the final showdown. In this single game match, the handicap division winner will bowl with handicap, while the scratch division winner will bowl scratch. The winner of the final showdown will claim the coveted trophy pin and all its season's worth of signatures that have been scrawled upon it. It's the grand prize they've all been playing for each season on Prodigy Bowlers Tour since 2016. And curiously, every single winner has given it away in a remarkable gesture of unselfish sportsmanship. Will that tradition continue here in America's heartland? We'll find out at the 2023 Prodigy Bowlers Tour Tournament of Champions, Sunday, June 25th at Olathe Lanes East. That's a new date. We rescheduled it. Sunday, June 25th. Check in at 9:30 a.m. Warm-up begins at 9:50, and we start bowling at 10 sharp. It's the first ever Prodigy TOC in the greater Kansas City area, and the first time we've ever awarded prizes to winners in both a scratch division and a handicap division, in addition to the coveted trophy pin going to the winner of the final showdown. Plus, at this season-ending event, we'll also name the first ever recipient of the PBAA, that's Prodigy Bowlers Across America, Player of the Year Award, voted on by a select panel of judges and you, the Prodigy viewers. Stay tuned for further details on how you can vote. It's the 2023 Prodigy Bowlers Tour Tournament of Champions, the season's last hurrah. Who will claim the coveted trophy pin? Celebrating junior bowling, elevating junior bowlers. Prodigy Bowlers Tour welcomes you to episode 145, the 2023 Kansas City Open May Points Tournament, Division III Championship Round. Today, 5 finalists will compete in a series of head-to-head handicap matches where the winner will keep advancing as long as they keep winning. In our opening match, the number 5 qualifier, Jacob Smith of Tonganoxie, Kansas, will take on our number 4 qualifier, Taylor Schick of Leavenworth, Kansas. The winner of that first match will advance to face our number 3 seed, Peyton Tryon of Liberty, Missouri. The winner of that match will advance to face our number 2 qualifier, Kelly Kritzler of Olathe, Kansas. And the winner of that match will bowl for the championship today against our tournament leader, Ethan Gonzalez of Kansas City, Kansas. One of these awesome young people will claim the Division III title today at the Kansas City Open and sign the coveted trophy pin. As the crow flies, it's about 60 miles from Kansas City to St. Joseph, Missouri. But for those of us on the south side of the metro area, it's well over an hour's drive to Revolutions Lanes and Fun Center, our host for the Kansas City Open May Points Tournament. This is the final points tournament of the season on the KCO calendar, as the last of the points will be awarded today, and the points leaders will receive their season-ending scholarship awards next month in Olathe at the KCO Invitational. Players in 5 divisions went to the starting gate to bowl 6 qualifying games, 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, in hopes of making the cut to advance to the stepladder finals today. Of course, here in Division III, where contestants' entering averages are 160 to 179, handicap is used. 90% of the difference between the player's average and 179, the top of the division. Here's how the qualifying round went down in Division III. As you can see, our tournament leader, Ethan Gonzalez, wasted no time in making it known that he was the player to beat with a 671 in the morning block. Peyton, Kelly, and Jacob were all inside the projected cut line after 3 games. But a couple of others threw their hats in the ring early and were vying for a spot in the stepladder, including Rebecca Heatley, who found herself in 5th place after the morning block, and little MJ Carson, who was tantalizingly close after the opening 3 games. But following the afternoon block, it was neither Rebecca or MJ who made a move to grab a spot in the stepladder. It was Taylor Schick who fired games of 191, 208, and 192 to climb from 8th to 4th. Meanwhile, our leader, Ethan Gonzalez, was thankful he built up such a big lead in the early games because he started leaking oil in the afternoon session with back-to-back 140 games before bouncing back with a 202 to finish qualifying and grab the lead by 1 pin. In fact, look at how close the top 4 players are. Just 4 pins separating 1st from 4th. That's about as tightly packed a field as we've seen all year at the KCO. But now it's time to get this party started. Stand back because the 5 seed, Jacob Smith, is one excitable boy. And not only did he make the stepladder, one of his primary goals today, but he also captured a spot at junior gold today, so he is very nearly bouncing off the walls. Meanwhile, Taylor Schick is the hottest player in the field coming out of the qualifying round, so this should be an interesting opening match. Taylor, being the higher qualifier between the two of them, had the choice of starting lanes, and she has elected to lead off. She wants to finish last. Oh my. Her opening toss drifts high, and now Taylor is left with a wide open split, the 6-7. It can be made. You got to put the ball way over on the right edge of the 6 pin and just get a piece of it and slide it across the lane into the 7. It's a beautiful thing when it happens. See if she can do it. Not this time. Too much 6 pin. So that's 9 out for Taylor in the first frame. You see she has 9 pins of handicap. We've added that in, giving her 18 in the first. So her handicap is all counted and built into her score. Jacob isn't getting any pins, so there'll be nothing to add into his score. Strap in. This kid is excitable. All right, a solid strike to start for Jacob. This young fellow from Tonganoxie, Kansas, 16 years old. Full disclosure, I've actually worked with him just a little bit, trying to get him to stop using his left hand to spin the ball off of his right hand when he lets it go. I see two-handers try that occasionally, and it's not really the way it's done. And he finds the nose with that one. May have gotten that one out a little wide into the drive. We bowl on the house shot at the KCO. They run the lanes once in the morning before the morning squad, and then we're bowling on the burn in the afternoon. So you'll find some friction if you send it wide. Jacob with his spare ball to cover the 6 pin, no problem. And now Taylor Schick once again. Taylor has bowled in almost every KCO this season. She missed the one in February. That's the same one I missed. But other than that, she's made every other one. Hold that one. Just got around it a little too quick. Got away with it though, leaving just the 5 pin. That could have been most anything. Taylor's 17 years old. She has one more year of youth bowling left ahead of her next season. And she covers the 5 pin, no problem. She started bowling in 8th grade when she was 12 or 13 and joined a league that same season. Has a high game of 268 and a high series of 615. Well, that was crowding the head pin just a little bit. A little high, leaves the 4 pin. Well, you will see there is action to our left on lanes 7 and 8. That's Division 4. And to our right on lanes 11 and 12. That's Division 5. And we will recap how their stepladders play out when we get to the end of the show today. Taylor with a spare in the 3rd. Just 3 pins separating these two. Jacob started bowling when he was 10. He says that he started because he was watching Prodigy Bowlers Tour on YouTube. We inspired him to start bowling. And he admitted to me that this has been one of his dreams for a few years. When he learned that Prodigy was moving to the Kansas City area, he was like, yes, now all I got to do is figure out a way to get on it. Well, here he is with his chance. And he chops the 3-6 off the 10. A little too high on the 3 pin, sending the 6 around the 10. So an open frame, and he surrenders the lead to Taylor. Jacob lists Jason Belmonte as his favorite pro bowler. Says he wants to be a PBA bowler when he grows up. Well, when he becomes a PBA bowler someday, he will take all of those Brooklyns that he can muster and be thankful he got them. All right, Taylor nursing an 11-pin lead here. Oh my goodness, that didn't look that high. Looked like it had almost crossed over to the Brooklyn side, but no. So she gets another crack at the 6-7, this time with the 10-pin added on for decoration. Same shot, just put it on the right edge of the 6-pin, slide it over, the ball will get the 10. But she does the same thing she did in the first frame when she had the 6-7 and gets too much of the 6. That's another open frame. And so it's back and forth here. I don't want the lead, you take it. As Taylor moves to the left lane, trailing by 3. Almost left another 6-7, 10. Well, she's just getting around the ball a little bit too much. She needs to keep her hand more behind the ball. Let's see if we can pick up on it. 4-step approach. Watch how her hand is already on the side of the ball, and it's on the top of the ball. We'd like to have fingers below the equator, but the hand is already on the side of the ball, and see, it's way out to the side here. It's actually, the ball's already inside her target, and see how her right shoulder has passed her left shoulder? Well, when your right shoulder has passed your left shoulder for a right-hander, you're going to pull it left every time. Keep that right shoulder square with the left shoulder. Covers the spare, though. Jacob said his best moment in bowling was when he shot 7-12 in a tournament. And I imagine he threw a few shots like that to do it. That's a big double. That increases his lead to 13, putting a little distance between himself and his opponent. He's in good balance at the line. I'd like to see his slide foot a little more perpendicular to the foul line rather than pointing to the right. More like that. But he kind of pulled that one, and up pops the 6-pin. Well, in qualifying today, Jacob earned a spot in Junior Gold. He's never been to Junior Gold before, so now he'll get to go this year. And I told him, prepare yourself. It's a life-changing experience. Solid cover of the 6-pin. to maintain his 12-pin lead. And now as we head down to the second half of the match, it's time for Taylor Schick to get busy. There you go. That's a better shot. She stayed just a little bit more behind the ball that time. Watch her hand. It's a little more behind the ball at the release. Still on the side a little more than I'd like to see it, but that was a little more behind it, and that's just enough to keep it on line. Taylor's best finish at the KCO this season, 5th, way back in September. That's when she was in Division 4. Well, that one just didn't come up, and now she's got the washout, the 1, 2, 10. Here's how to make the washout. Put the ball on the left side of the head pin. Send it over into the 10. The ball will get the 2. The one bad break you can get here is to send the 1 around the 10. But she gets a little too much of the head pin, so another open frame for Taylor. And Jacob's lead grows to 24 pins. Jacob has remained surprisingly calm this game so far. Gave that one a big mighty turn at the bottom, and boy, it just finished right in the pocket and snapped out the 10 pin like you'd hope for. Watch it again. That thing got out to about 5 or 6 at the break point. Kind of in the light pocket, but snapped out the 10. Nice shot. Pulled it. Oh man, he got away with it. You could see that that was well left of his usual trajectory on the lanes. Went right through the nose, had the 4-6 standing. 6 goes out late. That's when you look up to the sky and say, thank you. Takes the scenic route to cover the 4, but he covers it. And so, Taylor Schick, time to start stringing a couple of strikes here. Still a possible 201. Jacob going at a 195 pace. But once again, Taylor goes high. And I tell you what, when she sees this tape and she sees how her right elbow is getting out away from her body and her hand is on the side, the right side of the ball at release, you want more behind it. As they always say with the pros, oh, chop city. The pros work the inside of the ball. Amateurs tend to work the outside of the ball. You want to try to stay behind it as long as you can. That open frame was no help. Jacob's lead now 35 pins, and the best Taylor can do now is 180. That's a better shot. Rips the rack. So she's still in it. Watch this. She'll stay a little bit more behind the ball here. Just a little. But that's all it takes. Keeps it on line a little longer. And has the power to blow out the 5. All right, Jacob better not take her for granted here. Well, there's a solid strike. watch it again. Jacob's always in pretty good balance at the line. I got to hand him that. And he'll show you his emotion. Boy, he's been surprisingly subdued so far this game. And now he can put this match away right here. Even with an open frame, that's enough. That ball gave him just enough. If he misses both pins, he'd finish with 181. The best Taylor can do is 180. That 8 count was all he needed. Might as well go for it, have some fun. He gives it a ride, but it's an open anyway. He's going to finish with 183, and that's more than enough. So Jacob knows he's moving on. We'll stay with it here and watch Taylor finish out her game. She stayed behind that one pretty well, and oh my goodness, that 7-pin just, was it nailed down? Stubbornly refusing to fall. She shouldn't have any problem with the 7-pin. Got it. So a strike on the fill ball for 160. Not the game she'd hoped for, but anytime these kids make the stepladder finals, finish top 5 at the KCO, that's doing something. That's another good one. That's as good as it gets. 160 for Taylor Schick. But Jacob Smith bests her with a 183. And now he's moving on to match 2, where he'll face Peyton Tryon when we return. Back-to-back opens in the 7th and 8th for Taylor Schick really put her behind the 8 ball heading down the stretch. And by the time Jacob got to the 10th frame, it didn't really matter whether he marked or not. But all in all, I think Taylor would have to come away from her day in St. Joe feeling pretty good about herself. She put on a furious comeback in the afternoon block of qualifying just to get into the stepladder, and then just came up a little short in the opening match. So, it's Jacob Smith who's moving on to match 2, where now he'll face the one and only left-hander in our 5-player field today, Peyton Tryon. Peyton has bowled in every single KCO this season, but the only stepladder he made was in the March Adult Youth at Aaron's in Belton, Missouri, where he and his partner finished 4th. Today marks the first time he's made the stepladder this season in a singles event, and he would love nothing more than to make the most of this opportunity. But there is no one in the field who is more excited about making the show today than Jacob Smith, who's been watching Prodigy since it first debuted back in 2016 from Georgia. He's been wanting to be here since we first arrived in Kansas City, and now he's got a win under his belt. He might be hard to beat. But I'll tell you what, don't take this Peyton Tryon lightly. He's tournament tested. He bowls in all the KCOs. And he starts with a solid strike in the first frame. 5-step approach. Very simple game. Gets the ball just above hip high at the top of the swing. If there's anything I'd like to see him change, it's just to learn to throw the ball with a little more velocity. Jacob comes in a little thin that time. Sends the head pin around the 2, and he's left with the 2-4. The 5 went down. That makes this spare a little easier, a little less likely to chop. And he covers it with no problemo. Jacob moves over to the left lane. He finished 3rd in February in Division 3. Qualified 3rd, finished 3rd. Pretty good shot, that. 6-pin flies up and around the 10, ringer. He's 16 years old, so he's still got a couple more years of youth bowling ahead of him. And he covers that single pin spare without any difficulty. And now Peyton Tryon once again. He's 15 years old, so we've still got a few years with him on the KCO and on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. He's smooth. Throws the same kind of shot that Jacob did there in the 2nd frame, except the lefty leaves a ringing 7. He started bowling at the age of 9. Well, he shoots the 7-pin from the center of the lane. I'd like to see him move way to the right and go cross lane at the 7-pin. I think he'd have more success. That's an open frame, and now Jacob with a 2-pin lead. Comes in thin, leaves the 3-5-6. At least the 9 went out. Now you notice that with an open in the 2nd frame, that gave him 19 in the 1st, 28 in the 2nd. We add his 9 pins a handicap in the 1st frame. So all that's calculated in now. Oh, and there's that chop. Takes the 3 right off the 5, and he's not a happy camper. That's back-to-back opens for Peyton. So kind of a slow start for the left-hander. And if I know Jacob like I think I do, he is chomping at the bit, ready to go. And there's the result. Stone solid, perfect, right in the hole. See it again. He goes with a 4-step delivery. Once again in good balance. And just mauls the pocket. Boy, a double here would be huge. Take command of the match early. But he doesn't quite give it enough room. Goes through the nose, breaks down the 6-10 though, leaving just the 10. Now he's left 10 pins twice in a row in the left lane, although the first one was a ringing 10. This was a lucky 10 that he only left 1 pin standing. Could have been a split. Uh-oh. Well, maybe a little too excited there. An open frame, and that gets Peyton right back in the match, trailing now by just a single pin. Boy, he looks like he is just lined up and ready to go. Two good shots on the right lane. He wasn't rewarded for the first one when he left that ring in 7, but this time they all go down. And he'll show you a little emotion too. This guy's a fiery little competitor. And he too with excellent balance at the line. I love to see that. Boom. And you hear his rooting section in the background. He's got some very supportive parents looking on from the concourse area. And they like what they see with this shot. Right up about 6. And stuffs him straight back. All right, Jacob, I think you might have your hands full this match, buddy. Not a bad shot, just a pinch high. Just high enough that he didn't quite trip the 4. And you see he is just ready to go. Hurry up, pin setter. I got a shot to throw here. Just calm down, pace yourself. Takes care of the 4-pin. I think if it was up to Jacob, there'd be a shot clock on every ball. And if the game was decided by who finishes first in terms of who takes the least amount of time to bowl their game, Jacob would be a very tough out. Oh, he moved in a little bit that time. Buries it in the pocket. Looks to me like he moved a few boards to the left. But that is a beautiful shot. All right, Peyton. One more? I'd say so. Get the license number, man. That was a truck. Watch this. Moderate speed. He throws it right up about 6. And that just plows him over. He can extend his lead to 29 with another strike. Bank it, baby. Wow. Well, this Peyton Tryon has showed me something in this match, I'll tell you what. Good balance. Obviously, he's got a fire in his belly. He wants to win bad. That looked like it was going to try to be a messenger, and something intercepted the messenger. Knocked it off course, so Jacob gets to shoot another 10-pin. He has had mixed results shooting 10 pins so far this game. Made one and missed one. Look out. Well, he's 1 for 3 now. And now he has really dug himself a hole, trailing by 41 pins. Jacob with a possible 205 if he goes off the sheet. Peyton is going at a 216 pace. So Jacob would need some help from Peyton. But he does his part of the deal, gets that first strike. Give himself a chance. That's all you can ask for. Gives it plenty of room, gets plenty of hand on it to bring it back, and scatters him with a light shaker. Love it. All right, Peyton, answer the bell. A little too light that time. That didn't look like a bad shot. I don't know if it just slipped off his hand. He didn't quite catch it at the bottom or what, but that's a 5 count. And a spare that he chopped earlier, taking the 3 off the 5. Oh! Well, he gets a light shaker on a spare. You don't see that all the time. But he'll take it. He just needs to stay clean the rest of the way, and he'll be good. Did I say something about staying clean? 4, 6, 10. Well, fortunately for Peyton, he has some pins to burn. Just take the 2, get the count. He really throws it slow. Tell you what, if that little guy ever learns to throw that ball with a little more authority, a little more velocity, he might be dangerous. He's got a lot of things going on with his game that I like. Jacob, time to go off the sheet. Well, that's not going to get it done. Watch it again. I think we're going to see here what I've been working with him on. See, he's in pretty good position there, but his left hand spins the ball to the left as his right hand goes around the back and the right. He tries to use both hands to spin it out of his release, and that's just not the way it's done. Sometimes this game is made harder by the fact that a player has the wrong picture in his head for what he's supposed to do. And I think that's what's plaguing Jacob right now. He just needs to learn to roll that ball off his fingers. He will get plenty on it. He will get plenty of axis rotation. He doesn't need to try to help the ball and spin it with the left hand. Rips the rack there. He needs another one here to have any chance at all. Take another look at that one. This was a good shot. Half pocket, still gets enough on it to rip that 5 over toward the 7. He must strike on this next ball to have any chance at all. He can finish with 185. That would force Peyton to get 9 pins in the 10th to beat him. All right, had to have that one. But now, this one's just as important. It's conceivable that a player could open and get less than 9 if they left a big wide open split like a Greek church or a big 4 or something like that. But he's got to get all 10 here to make that happen. Oh, yikes. 6. That's not going to get it done. So, with that short count on the final ball, Peyton wins with 5 pins. And he's got 2 balls to get those 5 pins. I think he can handle it. Stay behind the foul line. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. He gets all 10 and says, take that. He bowled a pretty solid game. He's a little around the side of the ball, a little more than I would like, and as he gets bigger and stronger, he'll get his hand more behind the ball. Those fingers will get down below the equator of the ball. That's where the power lives. but he's getting the most out of what he's got right now. And he shreds the rack. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about equators and all that. I got all the power I need right here, old man. Ha! Hard to argue. Any questions? 207 with a strike. That's a 205, and that's a great game. So Peyton Tryon takes match 2 from Jacob Smith. Jacob had a good day, but it's Peyton's turn to move on. His next opponent, Kelly Kritzler in match 3. Although both players had a pair of opens, the difference in that match boiled down to one very simple thing. Peyton Tryon was able to string together a 4-bagger in the middle of the match, while Jacob Smith was not. The best Jacob could muster was a double in the 10th. Peyton looked pretty solid, but it's not like Jacob was lost or threw the game away. He threw some awesome shots, but he just couldn't string strikes together when he needed them. And in match play, that's often what it's about. So Peyton Tryon has survived match 2, and now he's on to match 3, where his next challenge is our 2 seed, Kelly Kritzler. Kelly was on the undefeated Olathe East High School bowling team that took the Kansas State High School 6A Girls Championship. So she is no stranger to winning at the competitive tournament level. If she can get it going, she can be a handful. But if Peyton can keep stringing strikes like he did against Jacob, he'll be a tough out. We could have some real fireworks here in this match. Once again, Kelly with the choice of starting lanes because she was the higher qualifier. And she has elected to lead off so that if it comes down to the 10th frame, she will go last, and she will know what she needs. Crosses over on the opening toss, leaves just the 9. As you can see, these two pretty evenly matched, just 1 pin difference in their handicap. Peyton getting 1 more pin than Kelly. She'll move a board or 2 left of her strike position and throw this right over her strike target. And that takes care of the 9 pin. No sweat. All right, Peyton Tryon. He has won 1 KCO in the past. He won it at Lunar Bowl, which It was not on the KCO calendar this year. I was kind of surprised by that. He stuffs him straight back. Boy, that's another solid pocket hit for this young lefty. Yeah, the first KCO that I attended just as an observer last season was the May Points Tournament, and that was at Lunar Bowl in 2022, and that's a nice bowling center. I was surprised they didn't go back this year. Man, oh man. He gave that one a little extra loft. I thought it might finish a little too hard on the back end, but no, he took care of it easily. Here's his footwork. 5-step approach. You see how that slide step is perpendicular to the foul line like I like to see it? And that's 10 back. Man, that kid is going to be good when he gets a little older. Wow. Oh man, I thought she'd thrown that one off the cliff. But she just planted it in the pocket. Watch this. See if we can pick up just how wide this thing gets. That's on about the 2 or 3 board. And just buries him. Wow. She's used to winning. Her high school team took first in the state championship. And she crosses over to get a Brooklyn and a double, and that tightens the match down to just 1 pin and sends a message to Peyton that Kelly came to play. Good shot. Just finished a little late. And that 4-pin just kind of lays down in the channel. It's what we would call a weak 7 or a soft 7. Let's see if he can cover this thing. And once again, he hooks by, and that's the reason why I like to see these kids shoot at those corner pins. If you're a left-hander, the 7-pin. If you're a right-hander, the 10-pin. Go cross lane at it. Gives you more room to throw it out, in his case, to the left so that it could hook back and still cover the pin. Gave that one a little extra room and just plows him over. Watch this. Got that one a little wider than some of the others. Catches the friction and down they go. All right, Kelly working on a double. See if she can keep this string going. And she does. She sends it out wide once again and measures it perfectly. And that's a turkey. Watch it again. She will send this one out. Doesn't go quite as wide as the last one on that lane, out to about 5. But that's right where it needs to be. And that opens up a 22-pin lead. She can extend it to 32 with another strike here in the 5th. And didn't send that one as wide either, and it's set beautifully in the pocket. When you're bowling on the house shot and you've got a few boards to play with, when you can miss right or left, you know you're lined up correctly. Because it gives you that miss area. Peyton pulled that one a little right of his target. And that may be an indication that he needs to move a little bit, because he doesn't have the pull area that we saw Kelly make use of on the right side of the lane. So he might need to move a board or two to the right. Maybe move his eyes at the arrows a board to the right. Covers the 4-7. Once again, he shot that from the center of the lane, and anytime you've got left side spares like that and you're a left-hander, you want to move right with your feet. Move over to the right side of the lane. Use the center of the lane to your advantage, where all the oil is. Well, as we mentioned earlier, the action to our left on lanes 7 and 8, that's Division 4. And to our right on 11 and 12, that's Division 5. And we'll tell you how their step ladders went when we get to the end of the show. Peyton collapses the right side of the rack with a light shaker. We'll get a second look at it here. He may have made that slight move. This one gets on down the lane before it makes its move to the right. That's what you're looking for. And he gets plenty of action on the back end. Can Kelly make it 5 in a row? Well, she pulled that one a little left of her target. You could tell it didn't get anywhere near as wide as the ones that were strikes on that lane. And it may be time for her to move a little left. Could have been a split, left just the 6-10. Look out. Off into the channel for an open frame, and that'll tighten this match. 16 pins separating them now. Well, Kelly says she wants to be a developmental psychologist when she grows up. She ain't messing around. Well, another one goes high, but she gets away with it. How did that strike? Wow. Peyton, if I were in your shoes, I think I'd throw the red flag and ask for an official's review of that one. But he says, nah, I'm good. Right back in the hole. Another strike, a double, and the lead is down to just 6. He just seems unflappable. Cool as the other side of the pillow, as they say. Wow. Oh, man, a bad break there. That 4-pin whistles around the 7. You know, there is an advantage to that more moderate ball speed, is it keeps the pins lower, and they tend to take more pins out on their way back. And that's the 3rd time he's hooked by the 7-pin. He's got to learn to shoot 7 pins from the far right side of the lane. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, and I don't mean to beat him up, but that is something he should work on, and that will improve his game. I mean, that's 2 open frames, missed 7 pins where he hooked by the 7-pin. If those are both spares, he leads this match. Didn't get it wide enough. Once again, nearly had the big 4. Kelly leaves just the 4-7. She must be living right. Kelly with a high game of 268 and a high series of 659. Covers the 4-7. But now we're getting down to the end. Kelly is going at a 222 pace. Peyton can still strike out for 223. So this is anybody's match. When we talk of a player going at a certain pace, we're talking about going strike, spare the rest of the way. She gave that one a little more speed so that it would hold the line. It didn't quite get the 5 over into the 7. It tried, man, it was trying. But she's got one left to go. So if she makes this and goes strike spare in the 10th, she would shoot 221. Peyton with a strike in the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th would finish with 223. She takes care of the 7. So it comes down to this. Peyton, who has been clutch throughout the day and has thrown some really nice shots. He needs 3 really good ones right now. Oh, he pulled that one. Pulled it right into the nose. And leaves the 2-4-7, a very choppable spare, and another one of those left side spares, but I'd much rather see him standing over at the right side of the lane to shoot. But he covers it. That'll shut my mouth for a moment. All right, 3 strikes in the 10th. He shoots 213. That would force Kelly to mark in the 10th. Oh, man. The blower moved the 10, moved it a good couple of inches, but the 10 would not go. So now Peyton's really got his back against the wall. He's got to make this and strike for 202 and hope that Kelly has an out-of-body experience. Oh, man. Can't be missing those. Even though it was a remote chance, it was your last chance. Now all Kelly has to do is stay behind the foul line and keep the ball on the lane. 1 pin will do it. And if I were a betting man, I would bet she could take care of this. Maybe even with her eyes closed. There it is. That will put this match in the win column for Kelly Kritzler, and she's going to be bowling for the title today. Peyton bowled awfully well. 3 opens in this match, and that'll do you in most times. Covers the 3. So she can fill it up here for 220. As you got a peek at her next opponent, Ethan Gonzalez leaning in there. All 10 for 220. All right, we'll call it 8 for 218. Either way, it's enough. And Kelly Kritzler takes match 3, and now she's on to the championship match, where she'll face Ethan Gonzalez next for all the cheese. Another fantastic match between two talented young bowlers. Peyton Tryon really showed me something with his appearance today. This young kid has the ability to live in the pocket and throw some strikes. Now, I think for him to get to the next level, he just needs to learn to throw the ball with a little more velocity. And then, as we often talk about with young people, really hone in on his spare game. He missed 3 single-pin spares that match. If those are all spares, this match could have gone the other way. But Kelly Kritzler may have surprised Peyton and some of our viewers when she started spare 4-bagger. But like I said, when you're on the state championship high school bowling team that went undefeated, you can throw some strikes. So it's Kelly Kritzler who advances to the championship match, where she'll now face the tournament leader, Ethan Gonzalez, for the title. I've been expecting to see some of the Gonzalez kids who bowl the KCO regularly make the show sooner or later. But I have to admit, I was thinking of the Gonzalez sisters. There are 3 of them, Kiera, Layla, and the youngest one, Bella. All 3 of them bowl with us where I coach at Olathe Lanes East. But nope, the Gonzalez that makes the first appearance on Prodigy is not one of the sisters, it's their cousin, Ethan. There are 2 or 3 families that have several kids in the field at the KCO each month. You've met the bowling Colemans, and now you're about to meet the first of the bowling Gonzaleses. Although this bowling Gonzalez, Ethan, has a bowling Kritzler standing in his way, and Kelly cannot be taken lightly after she just posted a little 218 game in her last match. Not sure exactly what the delay is here, but Ethan, being the higher qualifier, has elected to let Kelly start the match. Ethan wants to finish first. Maybe that they're, well, I'm not sure what the delay is, so I'll just remind you that the bowlers to our right on lanes 11 and 12 are Division 5. And to our left on lanes 7 and 8, they're Division 4. And we will catch you up on how their step ladders played out at the end of the show today after we talk to our winner. And who will that winner be? Will it be this young lady, Kelly Kritzler, or will it be Ethan Gonzalez? Well, we're about to find out. Oh, yikes. Right through the nose. And Kelly starts the match with the 4-7-10. Boy, that is not what you like to see right out of the gate. Here's how you make it. Put the ball over on the left edge of the 4-pin. The ball will get the 7. The 4 will slide across the lane and get the 10. I think the last time we saw anybody make this on Prodigy Bowlers Tour, it was Charles Bostic, way back in about 2016. Not to be this time. That is 9 out in the first, added to her 8 pins of handicap. That gives her 17 in the first frame, and now her handicap pins are all added in and accounted for in her score. And now our first look at Ethan Gonzalez. And he will wind it up and rev it up. But this one goes through the nose and he leaves the 3-6-10. A very choppable spare. And it's almost like he was trying to guide it a little bit when he let it go. You just got to let go of the ball when you're shooting spares. Just trust your arm swing and just let it go. That's 8 out, added to his 2 pins of handicap. Gives him 10 in the first. So now both players' handicaps are added in. We don't even have to worry about it the rest of the way. Another one through the nose. This time the 6-10. He moves just a little left of center. And gets the spare. You notice, though, how he kind of actually throws it slower at his spares than he does at his strikes. Usually what we see the top players do is they throw it harder at spares. It seems like Ethan is trying to just steer it a little bit on his spares. I think he will have a little more success over time if he learns to just trust his swing and just let that ball rocket down there to spares. Kelly got that one out wide enough. It just didn't quite finish. So the 6-pin just kind of laid in the gutter and didn't quite do its job to tap out the 10. So we'll get to watch her shoot the corner pin. She moves way over to the left side of the lane. I like this. And she gets the spare. Kelly started bowling at the age of 9. So she's been bowling half her life. And as I mentioned earlier, she was on the Kansas girls 6A high school championship team that went undefeated this season, winning every single meet they entered. That is quite an accomplishment. Oh boy, she had the 7-10 peeking at her for just a second there. 7 goes out, but she will get to go at the 10 once again. She successfully negotiated this spare a moment ago on the right lane. Let's see how she does here. Look out. Get that ball just a little too wide. It will not hook off the gray board. And that's an open frame, and that puts Ethan in the lead by 5. Looked like he pulled that one off his hand, just gave it a little extra help. But it crosses over and he gets away with it, trips the 6. Watch this. He's just going to come around it a little too much at the bottom. Crosses over and the 3 gets the 6. Thank you very much. Double would be huge here. Well, he almost got it, but that 6-pin just wouldn't cooperate. It laid down in the gutter and just would not snap out the 10-pin. So he'll have to go with that corner pin. And this time he gets it. So Kelly will try to bounce back from a slow start. 2 opens in her first 3 frames, including a missed single pin spare. Can't be doing that. Not in this situation. Oh, man. She got the 10 to go out and leaves just the 4-7. That could have been disastrous. Looks like she let up on the speed a little bit that time. I don't know if she's getting tired or what, but just going to have to buck up and finish this match. Takes care of the spare. Still just 5 pins separating these two. Kelly said that family and friends got her started bowling. I know she's got a very supportive mom rooting her on from behind. Changed her angle that time, moved in. That ball got nowhere near the right edge of the lane, and she rips the 5 pin out. Watch this. See how much farther left she's standing? This ball over about the 3rd arrow only gets out to about 12 at its widest point and shreds the rack. Now she's lined up. And Ethan says, so am I. Bring it. That was his best shot of the match so far. Watch this. Looks like he might have moved a little left. Got it out to the right. Found that sweet spot that the ball will hook off of and just mixed them up. Going for a double. Well, that was a near split. The 6-7 was standing there for a moment. But you see what happened that time. He just got that ball a little too wide too early. And so it found the dry on the outer side of the lane where there's more friction, and it started hooking earlier. But he covers the 6 pin and maintains his lead. But by failing to strike, he has opened the door just a little for Kelly. If she can throw a strike here in the 6th, she can take the lead right back. And hello, pocket. That was high flush. Pins can only do one thing when you hit them there, and that is get out of the way. Crunch berries. All right, now she can extend to 15 pins if she can put another one up here in the 7th. She trusted it, and the 5 gets the 7. A classic blower, that. Take another look at Kelly's game here. At the bottom of the swing, we like to see the ball right under the head. You can see here it's well to the right of that. For her to get her head over the ball, she would need to tilt her spine angle to the right, get the ball a little closer to her ankle where we like to see it, and then it would be in the perfect position. As it is, she loses a lot of power, but in this particular case, because of the entry angle, that ball gets just enough of the 5 to send it over into the 7, and I will take it, she says. Ethan through the nose, and this is no time to start leaving splits. Late in the match, trailing by 17 now. Here's how you make the baby split. And again, this is one you want to stand way over on the left side of the lane. That will narrow the gap between the 3 and the 10. he goes the other way. Gets it on the inside. Plays it off the wall. I don't know if he played it that way or not, but he got it that way. And in the end, it's not how, it's how many. Pretty sure that's not what he was trying to do, but he'll take it. Oh my. Well, that ball started to try to hook back, but then it just flattened out the last 20 feet of the lane and had nothing left. I think it might have slipped off his hand. But this 1, 2, 8, 9 is no joke. There's two ways you can shoot this. One is to go for the right side of the head pin, but you got to make sure that ball finishes enough that it takes out both the 8 and the 9. The way I would recommend shooting it is to hit it so that you knock the 1 pin into the 9. And then the ball will get the 2 and the 2 would get the 8. Either way, this is very missable. And it's certainly missable there. With every spare, you have to put the ball on the pin that's closest to you. In spare shooting, we call that the key pin, and with that spare, the head pin is the one closest to you, and he missed it. So, an open frame, and that puts Kelly Kritzler in the driver's seat as she steps up in the 8th frame. 33 pins out in front. And doesn't quite get another blower, but leaves just the 7. When you're 32 pins ahead with just 2.5 frames to go, your job is to just keep the ball in play and stay clean. She is taking a little extra time on this one. And it doesn't get up. And there's an open frame, and that'll tighten this match by a little. So let's take a look at this. Ethan Gonzalez, with strikes in the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, can finish with 192. Kelly Kritzler is going at a 192 pace. If she goes spare, strike, spare the rest of the way, or strike, spare, strike, either way, she would finish with 192. Playing that inside line again on the left lane and just plants one in the pocket. Watch this. Never a doubt on this one. This might have been the best shot she's thrown all day. Certainly came at a good time. Ethan's got to strike out. Oh no. No, 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 no. I don't know where that came from. Well, it looked like it slipped off his hand earlier when that ball flattened out on the first ball in the 8th. So I don't know if he's having grip issues or what, but boy, it sure popped up at the wrong time. Got to cover it. Oh, it's an open frame. And that is going to just about do it. Now the best Ethan can do is 171. Kelly can pass that on her first ball in the 10th. Well, that's unfortunate. Unfortunate for Ethan. I'm sure Kelly thinks it's fine. All right, there's a Brooklyn strike. You take him any way you can get him in this situation. 3 strikes in the 10th for 171. And you never know, maybe Kelly will be abducted by extraterrestrials in the 10th frame. Although I wouldn't bet on it. Well, that'll do it. Kelly Kritzler has won the Kansas City Open in Division III here at the May Points Tournament in St. Joseph, Missouri. Well, I would have liked to have seen Ethan bowl his best game, just so that you could see just how much talent there is in the Gonzalez family, because wait till you see the girls. Oh my God. They can bowl. So can Ethan. But this is Kelly Kritzler Day at the KCO. She can finish for 212. All right. Spare and a strike. We'd give her 192. And that's nothing to sneeze at. It's good enough for a win. Even when it's academic, she's taking her time with each shot. Gotta like that. Never giving one away. Those kids at Olathe East are well coached. That's how you go undefeated in high school bowling. She's on the same team with Lauren Leonardi, who you saw on Prodigy in the Division III show back in October when we were in Gladstone. In fact, I think she was wearing red, white, and blue that day, too. I wonder if that's a high school shirt. 9 out for a 191. And that is a championship performance by a player who is not unfamiliar to the winner's circle, Kelly Kritzler. And you're going to get to meet her. We'll visit with her and get her to sign the coveted trophy pin after this. Hello, Prodigy Land. It's me, Coach Randy. I was recently invited back to be the guest once again on the world's #1 bowling podcast, Phantom Radio, hosted by Len Nicholson, the longtime lane maintenance director for the PBA's national tour. Len's been doing this podcast for over 20 years, making him one of the early pioneers of podcasting. His guest list on the show reads like a who's who of bowling. Just in the last year or so, he's interviewed people like Carmen Salvino, one of the PBA's founding members, Del Warren, the lead instructor at Kegel, Larry Lichstein, the PBA's longtime director of player services and a PBA Hall of Famer, Kim Terrell-Kearney, Hall of Fame bowler and college bowling coach, and the list goes on and on. Well, Len learned of what we're doing with Prodigy Bowlers Tour a while back, and he invited me on the show to tell the Prodigy story. And now I want to invite you to check out his podcast. Go to www.kegel.net/phantom. I've now appeared on the show twice, on the March 29th episode and most recently on the May 10th episode. And to hear Len tell it, he may even invite me back again. He really likes Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Len Nicholson also has asked me to help spread the word about his new Phantom Radio Junior Bowling Club. It's free to join, and there'll be free prizes, instruction, and you might even get to hear your name on the Phantom Radio podcast. To sign up, go to kegel.net/phantom and look for the link to join the club. We now return you to our regularly scheduled program, already in progress. The final score of that championship match doesn't really tell the whole story. It remained a very competitive match right up until the point at which Ethan felt like he had to press to force the issue. And as it so often happens, that's what brought out his worst shot of the match. And from there, it was pretty much all over but the shouting. But Ethan bowled great all day. This was his last chance to make it on Prodigy, as he'll age out of youth bowling this fall. So too will Kelly Kritzler, but boy, she sure made her one appearance on Prodigy Bowlers Tour count. She bowled 2 solid games, a 218 in the penultimate match, and then a 191 in the championship match to claim victory. And that means she gets to do the honors today. Look who's here. It's our Division III winner at the KCO today, Kelly Kritzler, who bowls with us at Olathe Lanes East. And somehow she has escaped my notice until now. But boy, you made everybody sit back and notice you. How'd you do it?
It's just, it takes a lot of patience, you know, a lot of practice, you know, just trying to, just every time I get up on the lane and I'm about to shoot my shot, I always make sure to take a deep breath just to help calm the nerves, just make sure every shot is my best shot.
So you and Lauren Leonardi were on the state champion high school team that went undefeated this year. You won every single meet you bowled in. That was pretty cool.
That was crazy. It was one of the best seasons of my life. I remember going into it and we won our first ever tournament there our senior year, and I was like, oh, I want us to go undefeated. And if we win state, that would just be unbelievable. And it happened, and it was crazy. It was just.
And then today, you won the Kansas City Open, and you did it on Prodigy, and you know what that means? It means you get to sign your name to the coveted trophy pin. And that means that you're qualified to bowl in the season-ending Prodigy Bowlers Tour Tournament of Champions, which will be June 25th at Olathe Lanes East. And the winner will get to keep the coveted trophy pin. So put your name on it and put today's date on it. Let the whole world see that Kelly Kritzler is a champion on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. She had to drive all the way to St. Joseph, Missouri, which is almost to, I don't know where we're closer to, Nebraska or Iowa, but we're up there somewhere. But anyway, that's some bowling. Congratulations.
As we mentioned earlier on the show today, the bowlers to our left on lanes 7 and 8 were bowling in Division 4. Here's how their stepladder played out. In the opening match, the 5 seed, Grace Ryder, who you saw on our September Division 5 show run the stepladder to win it all, opened with a 186 game to defeat the 4 seed, Colton Boob. In match 2, Grace kept it going, defeating Kaylin Parkhurst 176 to 135. Then in match 3, Grace squeaked by in a close one, defeating Camden Hale by a score of 169 to 165. And in the championship match, Grace won the Division 4 title over tournament leader Haley Hill 183 to 174. So Grace Ryder started the year by winning the first points tournament in Division 5 and then won the final points tournament of the year in Division 4. We'll see her at the season-ending Prodigy Bowlers Tour Tournament of Champions. And the bowlers to our right on lanes 11 and 12 today, that was the Division 5 group. And here's how their championship round went. In match 1, the youngest of the Gonzalez sisters, Bella Gonzalez, qualified 5th and defeated the 4 seed, Samantha McCoy, 148 to 135. But in match 2, the 3 seed, Grady Groom, ended Bella's run 165 to 126. That set up match 3 with Grady facing the 2 seed, Bailey Feuer, the sister of Lillian Feuer, who you've seen on the show a couple of times this season. And Grady got the best of her this time, 175 to 132. And in the championship match, Grady faced the other boob in the KCO field today, Connor Boob. That's right, there are 2 boobs in the field. Go ahead and laugh. They'll both bowl circles around you. And on this day, it was Connor Boob who fired a 200 game to defeat Grady Groom and take the title in Division 5. So now, both of the Boob boys, Connor and Colton, have KCO titles to their credit. You better keep your eyes on these boobs, and I ain't joking. So congratulations to Division 5 champion Connor Boob, Division 4 champion Grace Ryder, and today's winner in the featured division, Kelly Kritzler, the Division 3 champion. On the next episode of Prodigy Bowlers Tour, you'll see the championship round in Division 1 in St. Joseph. And you'll see in the periphery the stepladder finals in Division 2, which we'll recap for you at the end of the show. There's only one more Kansas City Open this season, and that's the KCO Invitational, June 4th at Olathe Lanes East. We'll be there to bring you the exciting championship round action in Divisions 1 and 2. And the balloting for our first ever recipient of the PBAA Player of the Year Award could come down to the KCO Invitational, so stay tuned for that. Then on June 25th, we'll be back at Olathe Lanes East for the Prodigy Bowlers Tour Tournament of Champions, a giant doubleheader episode, as we'll bring you both the Handicap Division and the Scratch Division stepladders on one show. Plus, the final showdown, where the winners of the Handicap and Scratch Divisions will face off for the coveted trophy pin. I expect that show to drop just in time for everybody to see it before they head off to Junior Gold in Indianapolis. Remember, if you want to support the creative work that goes into producing Prodigy Bowlers Tour each month, become a Prodigy patron. For just $5 a month, you'll get early access to each of our full-length episodes. And for just $10 a month, you'll get that, and you'll get your name in the closing credits of each show as an executive producer, just like they do it in Hollywood. Remember, to keep up on all things Prodigy, join the Prodigy Facebook group. Just type in Prodigy Bowlers Tour in the search bar on any Facebook page and click Enter. That'll take you to a page where you can submit a request to join the group. But to be approved, you must answer the 3 simple screening questions. Otherwise, we'll just think you're a spam bot, and you don't want that. So, until next time, this is Coach Randy wishing you the best, both on and off the lanes. I'll talk to you again on our next episode of Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Now, go get your bowl on.